Oh, I doubt that's going to happen. And hello there, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening. It is the DOUG here once again. And it's time for some football. Yeah! Of course, I am not alone in the pick show. We do have my good buddy Dave, a.k.a. the resident 49er fan. Hope you're having a good night. And I know you did well in picks. For once. 10-4. Well, that ties from an earlier season, so that we don't count that in the this week. Or so you're going to get your 100th win this week. You did make the players in your fantasy thing. You did. No, you need to say thanks to the Steelers defense because they will. Granted, Kirk Cousins tried to throw that game away, which we're going to discuss in a minute. But of course, we do a quick. I did 10-4 as well, so I went 120. I'm 124-79-1 for the season. Mr. Jones, unfortunately, does have the one-game lead on us at the moment. On me at the moment, so it's really going to come down to probably between me and him. The end of the season. Dave, you can kind of still get in, but you need me and Mr. Jones to go 0-16 the next 2 weeks. Which I don't know if that's going to happen. Yep. Of course, my buddy Vibrody, he's playing Demon Slayer right now. That's why you won't hear him right now. But hope he's enjoying Demon Slayer. Happy early Christmas to everybody, because Christmas is next week. And I should point this out before we go over the recap. Next week, the only video I am doing is the Week 16 picks. So there will be no videos for me excluding the Week 16 picks, just because of the fact of I want to enjoy the holiday week. So, Week 16, we'll be doing the picks on Wednesday. After that, there won't be a video again until the following Monday. Just thought I would throw that out there in case people wanted to know what was going on next week. But let's go over the recap of what happened last week in case you were living under a rock. The Vikings almost choked away a win to the Steelers, but somehow held on. The Cowboys almost did the same thing, but their defense stepped up to beat Washington in the end. Browns banged up the injured Ravens. The Titans got the easiest win of the week, beating the Jags. The Chiefs dominated the Raiders because the Raiders forgot the first rule of life. Do not step on the opposing team's logo. We'll explain that in a minute. Saints got the hand of the business with the Jets, eliminating the Jets from the playoffs. By the way, the Jags and Lions were also eliminated this weekend. Falcons beat the Panthers. Seahawks proved to be a competent team for once, as they did beat the Texans. Broncos dominated the Lions, but it was because for their fallen former wide receiver number 88. Chargers destroyed the Giants. Bengals lose to the Niners in overtime thanks to a great play. Bills lose to the Buccaneers in overtime. Packers pretty much beat the Bears with ease, and the Rams beat the Cardinals, but in doing so, it may cost them a win this week maybe because they had to, a lot of their players are out with the sickness, which we're going to discuss in a minute. But anyway, let's just give a quick recap of some of the bigger games. First, Steelers and Vikings. I'm going to say this, Dave. If I was a Vikings fan, I could understand why I would want to burn my jersey. Because you saw them play great that first half, a little bit of the third quarter. They're up 29-0. And they almost blew the lead because Kirk Cousins is an idiotic quarterback. The defense looked like they wanted to give it away, and it's like if the Vikings could get their shit together, you could make the argument they could be undefeated. And I'm going to say this. No problem. I'm going to say this. I don't care that they won the game. If I'm ownership, you need to be firing some people because if you would have lost that game in that fashion, we wouldn't be making fun of the Atlanta Falcons blowing that lead in the Super Bowl anymore. You would have been the new meme at blowing a 29-0 lead. Yeah, that Clay Claypool, which I have him on my fantasy thing in Dallas, but when I saw that, I was like, how dumb are you got to be? There's no timeouts. 30. You could have won that game. I got to agree with that. Yep. Antonio Brown. Yeah, I kind of have to agree with that. Moving to the Browns and Ravens, because Dallas, we pretty much already said what that was. Dallas offensively almost... Ravens, the only thing that needs to come out of there is this. Lamar Jackson's got an ankle injury. He's still playing this Sunday against the Packers, but we don't know if he'll be at 100%. Browns fans, while yes, you can celebrate that you beat Baltimore and it keeps your playoff hopes alive. In doing so, unfortunately, Thanos decided to do what he always does. Snap his fingers, because you were missing half of your damn team because you got the T-virus, as we like to refer to it on this channel. Almost everybody's out. The coach has it. Baker Mayfield. Now, there's a chance some of them might still be able to play Saturday, but it does affect the picks and who Vegas favored, because before this, Cleveland was favored by a touchdown. Now the Raiders are favored to win the game. So when we discuss it, we're going to have to really be like, do we think all these players will be healthy and cleared enough in time to play, or the Raiders going to get an easy win? Because here's the thing, if you're Cleveland, you have to win the next 3 out of the 4 games, because remember, you got week 15, 16, 17, and 18. This is the one you need to win most of all, because you got to play Green Bay. I don't see Cleveland beating Green Bay. So you have to win this game somehow, Cleveland. Do I think they can do it? I don't know. And we'll discuss that in the picks. Chiefs and Raiders. Speaking of the Raiders, since beating Dallas, you have gone 0-2. And what did you do in the Chiefs? Oh, you decided to do a little dance and celebration on the Chiefs logo in the middle of the field. And what happened? It became a Law and Order Special Victims Unit episode because the Chiefs raped your ass. It was a massacre. Yeah, it was like 9-48, I think it was. So it was insane. Alright, we're going to let you get to the 49ers because that one I know you want to discuss, so I'm going to let you handle that real quick. Mm-hmm. No problem, fair enough. Normally we would go over more games, but there's a lot of shit we gotta discuss. So first, Washington Bills, I was expecting to talk about it, but unfortunately, there's way more things to discuss besides Bills and Bucks, sadly. And that's the first thing. Washington football team's COVID list now has 18 players. So they're going to be going into this game against the Eagles with missing about 18 players, give or take. Yeah, they added 8 more today. Hey, Eagles are probably going to be favored, which helps Dallas, which we'll get to later. Cardinals wide receiver DeHaan Hopkins is expected to miss the rest of the regular season with a sprained knee, but the team is hopeful to get him back for the postseason, which they probably will make it. I got to go through my Twitter thing. Yes, so the Clevelands now have 17 players and 2 coaches on the C virus list, or the T virus, as follows: Head coach Kevin S. Running backs coach Ryan Cordell. Quarterback Baker Mayfield. Wide receiver Jarvis Landry. Wide receiver JoJo Natson. Tight end Austin Hooper. Tight end Dave Ann. Tight end Ross Travis. Tackle Jedrick Williams. Guard Wyatt Teller. Guard Drew Forbes. DE Tataka Mikanaki. I know I pronounced that name. DEIO. Linebacker Antonio Walker. Cornerback Troy Hill. Safety John Johnson. Safety Nate Meadows. And lastly, until you not least, the punter Jamie Gillahan. He would be, yeah, pretty much. It seems the field goal kicker will also be the emergency quarterback unless the Browns got somebody. But Baker Mayfield is expected to play if he can get cleared in time. So there is a chance some of them could play, but it is not likely. And this is the thing. A lot of people think I personally, with that many people out, I would say try to postpone it. But they're not going to postpone it because of the fact that they're making week 19. And as much as you would think it would make sense to have the Browns just forfeit, that wouldn't exactly be fair to the healthy players. So what's going to happen, they're going to play this game, and I expect, and Cleveland could be in trouble, which we'll get to that later on in the pick part. We've already discussed that Joe Harbaugh said his QB will be day-to-day, and Bills quarterback Josh Allen is listed as limited participation in practice today due to his sprained foot. The Panthers have designated QB Sam Darnold to return off IR, and he'll practice today. We have a lot of teams in the COVID thing. Thankfully, not your Niners, but one of them does involve you a bit. Browns, Bears, Falcons, Lions, Rams, Washington, and the Vikings. I'm seriously going to laugh if we find out Kirk Cousins does not play Monday, because then you're fucked in fantasy. The Ravens have signed cornerback Josh Johnson to their active roster from the Jets practice squad, insurance fund handling Lamar Jackson. Let's see. And if you live in the state of Virginia, your NFL games are spotted if you don't have Red Zone. On CBS at 1 o'clock will be Titans at Steelers. Fox is the doubleheader in the area as Washington plays Philadelphia. At 1 p.m. then at 4:25 it is the Packers taking on the Ravens. Now, let's see. Oh, yes. Rams have the following people on the list. Odell Beckham Jr., NT Sebastian Joseph Day, DB Terrell Burks, tight end Bruce Hopkins, DB Juju Hudge, OL Alan Jackson, tight end Tyler Higbee did in fact have a false positive. But there is some good news though. Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen has been activated and will be playing Thursday against the Chiefs. So some good news there, right? Now we get to talk about the fun thing. Playoff scenarios, because there's a few teams who can clinch a playoff spot this weekend. So there's going to be a lot. So let's discuss those real quick. The first one is we're going to be in the AFC. The Titans can clinch the AFC South with a win over the Steelers plus a Colts loss. Remember, Colts play on Saturday against the Patriots. Patriots can clinch a playoff berth, all starting with a win Saturday against the Colts. Plus a Dolphins loss and tie, and continuing with other results. The Rams can clinch a playoff berth with a win over the Seahawks, plus a Vikings loss or tie, a Saints loss or tie, or a win plus a Vikings loss and tie plus an Eagles tie, or a win plus a Saints loss and tie and an Eagles tie, or a tie plus a Vikings loss plus a Saints loss plus a Falcons loss and tie. The Cowboys, my boys, can clinch the NFC East with a win over the Giants plus a Washington football team Eagles tie, or a win plus an Eagles win plus other results, giving Dallas the strength of victory tiebreaker over Philadelphia. Cowboys can also clinch a playoff berth with a win plus a Saints loss, or a win plus a Niners loss, or tie plus a Falcons loss. a Vikings loss, plus a Saints loss or tie. Or Falcons loss. Pretty much, if the Falcons lose, that helps the Niners. But if the Niners lose, Dallas will clinch a playoff berth with a win plus a Saints loss or a win plus a Niners loss. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So that takes care of that. Moving on, the Cardinals can clinch a playoff berth with a win and a whole lot of shit. In better words, if they win against the Lions, they're in. If they lose or tie, they're going to need a lot of pieces to go their way. The Buccaneers will clinch the NFC South with a win or a tie against the Saints. The Bucs, if they lose though, can clinch a playoff berth with a Vikings loss plus a Niners loss, or a Vikings loss and tie plus an Eagles tie, or a 49ers loss plus an Eagles tie. Also, the Packers can clinch a playoff berth one of two ways. They can either clinch it with a Saints loss, a Niners loss, or the Packers can just clinch the NFC North easily with a win or a tie against the Ravens and a Vikings loss. In better words, Packers will probably clinch. Well, they can win the division with a win over Baltimore. So that's why I think that's probably the easier bet. Because I don't see the Vikings losing to the Bears unless something really weird happens. And the Lakers won. Boo. Fuck the Lakers. And right now I'm bringing up the playoff standings, so just give me a few minutes. By the way, I'm 25 platinums away from 700, and a good shout out to two people. Matt, who we found a loophole to get the online head-to-head franchise trophy in Madden, so thank you, Matt, for that. No, I'm still going to help you, Dave. You just got to let me know when you're back on PS4, because I know you've been on Xbox playing Halo. And also thank you to Ashley, who got me a $10 PSN card for Christmas, so now I have Among Us. Alright, so let's go to the playoff standings. Well, it's $5 on the PSN store, but I didn't have it on. I didn't have the, Alright, so the playoff standing are as follows. In the AFC, the Patriots are the 1 seed because the tiebreakers over the Titans and Chiefs, and Titans are 2nd, Chiefs are 3rd. Baltimore is currently the 4th seed at the moment. Your wildcard teams are the Chargers, Colts, and Bills. However, Cleveland's not out of it, Cincy's not out of it, Denver's not out of it, Pittsburgh's not out of it, the Raiders are not out of it, and Miami is still in it as well. But the Jets, Houston, and Jags have been eliminated. In the NFC, pretty much in better words, guys, they're now the Walking Dead. In the NFC, Packers are the 1 seed, followed by Tampa Bay, then Arizona because of tiebreakers, because Green Bay did beat Arizona. And Tampa Bay has the tiebreaker over Arizona based on strength of victory. Dallas is currently the 4th seed, but they could move up a bit because they do play the Cardinals coming up. So if Dallas were able to beat them, they would switch spots. The Rams are the 5th seed, followed by the Niners in 6th, and Washington, even though they lost this past week, they are still in control of their own destiny at the 7th seed. Minnesota and Philadelphia are right behind them as well. Philadelphia could jump Washington, though, depending what happens this weekend. Atlanta, New Orleans, and Seattle are 5 and 8. They need some help to get in. And the Giants in Chicago are still alive, but if they lose this week, their fate is over. So let's get to the games this week. The first game, which will be on tomorrow night on Fox, it will be the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Chargers. This is for pretty much the division, more or less. Chargers need this win not only to try to win the division, they need this win to stay alive in the wild card race as well, because one loss could hurt them. Chiefs coming off a dominant win over the Raiders. Chargers coming off a dominant win over the Giants. Chargers will be getting some key pieces back. Chiefs look like they will be missing a few key pieces because of the T-virus. You know, Kansas City's favored by 3 points. I think the Chargers are hungry. I think if they stay healthy like they are going into tomorrow night, I say they're going to win this game. It is in Los Angeles, so give me the Chargers and my upset pick to win at home against the Chiefs. So you're going with the Chargers as well. Now, the next game we're going to discuss is not a Saturday game. You know, in Madden it is, but in real life it got switched. And that is Washington at Philadelphia. This is a Sunday game now at 1 o'clock. The two Saturday games are Raiders and Browns at 4:30. Then the Saturday night game is the Patriots at the COLTS, which when we get to those games, we'll discuss them. But let's discuss Washington at Philly. That is a 1 o'clock game on Fox. Philadelphia is favored to win this game by 7 points. Here's the thing. Washington's going to come in injured. They got a lot of people out on the T-virus. So give me Philadelphia to win this game. As much as I would love as Washington to win in a sense, because I think, you know, they deserve it because they've actually been playing well. I think, unfortunately, due to injuries and the T-virus in particular, I think it's going to help Philadelphia. Philadelphia wins at home. No. I actually No, because I wrote these picks down earlier today. Before that list came out with Washington missing all those players, I had Washington winning. But after all that, I switched it because I'm like, there's no way I can trust a team to win with that many people out. I know you were being a smartass. So you're going to take the Redskins. Alright, so... Fair enough. Now, of course, the next game I'm going to discuss is a 1 o'clock game. Not a 1 o'clock, a Saturday game at 4:30 on the NFL Network. By the way, both Saturday games you can only watch on the NFL Network. It's the Raiders and Browns, and Raiders are now favored by 1.5 because of all the illness going on. And here's the thing. Before that broke about Cleveland missing that many players, I had Cleveland winning the game. But I had to agree with Vegas in this situation. Because of all those players being out, we don't know who the Browns will be able to get back on Saturday. I have to go with what I have in front of me, and I'm going to go with the Raiders. So I think the Raiders are going to be able to bounce back because of all the Browns, unfortunately, missing so many players. They are playing in Cleveland. I got the Raiders. If it wasn't for those people being out, I would probably be taking Cleveland. Oh, wow. I am shocked by that. That's understandable, but I can't trust a team who's missing that many people. Moving on. We're heading to... Well, you think I'm not trusting a team with that many people out and the head coach and the running backs head coach. Moving on, we're heading to Miami as the Dolphins, who are still in the playoff race, going against the Jets. Dolphins are favored by 10 points. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm taking the Miami Dolphins. There's no way I can sugarcoat this to be nice. Jets out of the playoffs. Yes, they can play the Warriors spoiler and cost Miami their chance. But Miami's just playing too much good football. After starting 1-7, they are now 6-7 and a chance to steal a playoff spot if things go their way. So give me Miami at home here. Picking the Dolphins, alright. Moving on, we're heading to Buffalo, but both these teams need a win to keep any hope of a playoff thing alive. Buffalo's at home against the Panthers. Buffalo's favored by 10.5 points. You would think Buffalo should win this game, and Buffalo is my pick, but I'm going to say this. I'm a little concerned because of Josh Allen's injury. I don't know who it is either. That's the issue. But the Bills' defense is good. The Panthers have been having issues with quarterbacks since Cam Newton won against Arizona. I think Panthers, they're about to get eliminated. So give me the Bills at home. And you got that defense. All right. Moving on to the next game. It is the Saturday night game. Patriots at Colts. Colts are favored by 2.5 points. The Colts are coming off a bye, and so are the Patriots, as I recall. Yes, both teams coming off a bye, so they should be fresh. But I'm taking the Patriots here, guys. They have just been so good the last few weeks. And they are the number one seed. They control their destiny. I don't know if they represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. But right now, you got to admit, they're probably one of the best teams in the AFC because of what they've been doing. Now, do I think the Colts can win this game? Yes. This is one of those games to where I have to agree with the point spread a bit. This is going to be a very close game, but I think if I had to what makes my decision easier is, yes, it's in Indianapolis, but it's Bill Belichick you're playing against. And Bill Belichick knows how to stop a lot of shit. He couldn't stop my Cowboys, but he knows how to stop a lot of shit. But give me the Patriots on the road here. Uh-oh. We have lost Dave. Oh, no. Dave? Dave, can you hear me? Over. There we go. Maybe they're doing the maintenance early. Correct. It's in Indianapolis, so it's going to be, and Colts will be the home team. Well, you're going for a lot of upsets this week, my friend. Moving on to New York, the Cowboys are coming in to play the Giants. Cowboys are favored by 10.5 points. It was announced that Jones will be out again this week, so the Giants will be using the backup quarterbacks. And we know I'm taking Dallas, so yes, offensively Dallas has played bad the last few weeks. But man, that defense of Dallas has been playing great the last few weeks. Giants offensively, did you not see what happened against them in the Chargers? The Chargers killed them on both sides of the ball. So I'm taking the Cowboys here. Cowboys win this and an Eagles win. That pretty much gives Dallas the division. I don't know if that's going to happen or not this week. We shall see, but I got my boys. No. Alright, moving on to the Tank Bowl game of the week, aka the worst game of the week. Jaguars at Texans. Texans at Jaguars. This is to see who's the bottom bitch of the NFL. Yes, I know someone's going to say, well, the Lions. Lions at least have tried to win all their games. Can you say that for Houston or Jacksonville? No. I'm still trying to figure out how both these two teams have 2 wins right now. Jacksonville's favored by 3.5 points, which I think that's the first time Jacksonville's been favored all year. I'm going to be honest here. I flipped a coin. This is the first time I really couldn't make a pick. I had to flip a coin. And it landed on heads, so I have Jacksonville winning because of a coin flip. See, you say you can't trust Jacksonville. Here's my argument. You can't trust Houston either. Both teams have a terrible head coach. Jacksonville is kind of more disappointing in the sense you think they would have been able to get Trevor Lawrence better coached, but no. Houston, we know what the problem is. It's because there's dysfunction in the locker room between ownership and a certain player. But that's here to near no there. Fair enough. Up next, and I think we're probably both going to agree on this, it's the Titans on the road against the Steelers. Tennessee's favored by 1.5 points. I got the Titans here. After the way the Steelers got embarrassed by Minnesota for most of that game, and then the idioticness of Claypool to be that stupid, yeah, I don't trust you guys. So give me the Titans. Alright, the next game is not at 1 o'clock. It got moved to 4:25 on Fox. It is the Packers at Baltimore. Green Bay is favored by 5.5 points, and I hate to say this, because I have to agree with Vegas. As much as I hate picking against my mom's team, I have to pick the Packers here. Not as injury. They're not as banged up. Yes, Rodgers is banged up a bit, but so is Lamar Jackson, so they cancel each other out. But Ravens have way, way more injuries, so give me Green Bay on the road. Yeah, if Ravens were more healthy, but you know, there might be a better chance. But the only good thing for Baltimore is if it's going the way I think, they'll still be in first place for obvious reasons. Next up, my lock of the week, Cardinals against Detroit. Yeah, this is a bounce-back game for Arizona. They should win this game with ease. Cardinals are favored by 13 points. Give me the Cards. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Alright, up next, it is the Bengals against the Broncos. This game is at 4:05. Broncos are favored by 2.5 points. I'm going to take Denver here. As much as I don't want to sound like I'm being heartless here, when that former player of theirs died, you saw how they played against the Lions. Yes, I know it was against Detroit, but humor me. They're in the playoff hunt race right now. They're dedicating the rest of the season to him. That's a lot of things. The football gods may smile upon them for that. Bengals coming off a heartbreaking loss in overtime. Most of the pressure is on the Bengals because of the fact of Denver was not expected to do anything this year. Cincinnati was. So I'm going to take the Broncos at home here. Fair. Fair enough. Up next at 4:05, the Niners are at home against the Falcons. Niners are favored by 9 points. Dave, why should people take the Niners? Well, Falcons are 6-7. They can still a playoff spot, if they win this and win out. And Matt Ryan. Actually, if the Niners win, they'll be 8-6. Thought you said 7. Now, I will be honest, this was one of my harder games to pick because of the fact of, well, I think the Niners defensively are the better team. I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo. Something about that man scares me between, you know, something just I don't trust about him. If Matt Ryan was on the 49ers, Niners would have a better record. That's a fact. But I think because the Niners have better overall, better key pieces that help Garoppolo more than what Matt Ryan has, I'm going to take the 49ers as well. But I will say this. Would I be surprised if the Falcons won? No, I would not. Because Jimmy Garoppolo will fuck it up somehow. I remember that, and I ended up laughing on the floor. You're playing in San Francisco. Up next, the last Saturday game of the afternoon. Seahawks at Rams. Rams are favored by 4.5 points. And I know what someone's going to say, because they're going to be like, oh, Doug, you went against Cleveland, but you still... But I'm picking the Rams to beat Seattle. And yes, I know the Rams are missing people. But Seattle is such a disappointing team this year. I mean, excluding Russell Wilson, what else can you say about Seattle that's nice? Not a damn thing. He hasn't played well this year. He's only been playing well when Russell Wilson's played. When Russell Wilson was out, he was shit. So, and I'm going to say this, it's in Los Angeles. Rams are not missing any big key defensive players. And Matthew Stafford still got enough pieces around him to win this game. So give me the Rams. That's debatable. No, I do not want to see I don't want to see a team with a tie in the playoffs. Fuck that. How many upsets do you got this week? Dear Lord. Only thing, we still got 2 games left. The most we've had this year for somebody picking is 2, and that was me last week. Well, a few weeks ago. And that's what I like about Matthew Stafford. If Russell Wilson had more weapons than just one dude, I would agree with you. But he's only got one dude, and that's it. Moving on to the Sunday night game, and I have a feeling you're not gonna pick Tampa Bay. It's the Buccaneers at home against the Saints. Tampa Bay's favored by 11.5 points. I've learned my lesson last week, football gods. I am taking Tampa Bay. Saints, yeah, you got your first win last week, but it was against the Jets. You go from playing in the outhouse to the penthouse. Saints. Give me Tampa. Alright. And then the last game of the week, 15. Vikings on the road against the Bears. Vikings are favored by 3.5 points. By the way, this game will be on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and the ABC network. I so want to pick Chicago so bad. Because I hate Kirk Cousins. I hate the man with all my heart. But it's Chicago. Chicago's been disappointing most of the season. They're probably going to fire their head coach. They got a quarterback problem because he's not ready yet. But do I feel... He did a moderate. And that's as nice as I'll be to Justin Fields. I'm picking the Vikings, but I will say this right now. If Minnesota chokes this game away, like they almost tried to do against the Steelers, Kirk Cousins better hide on Wednesday, because I would be so unforgiving. Wait a minute, your fucking quarterback in fantasy football is playing on Monday night. Oh, hell no, you don't get to watch Monday Night Raw. I get to watch Monday Night Raw because I don't give a fuck about Kirk Cousins. See, here's what's going to happen now because you picked Chicago. Vikings are going to win this game, and Kirk Cousins is going to play bad. It's going to be a double inside. He's just going to play good enough to where you were still losing the fantasy pick. I mean, playoff. Until now. Go Bears. All right. Now, normally at this point, I'd say that's the end of this stream, and we're going to be going to the Cowboys Giants, but we're going to do that tomorrow night after the Chiefs-Chargers game. So let's just take a look ahead because I want to rest my voice up for tomorrow. So next, Week 16, the Thursday night game, it is the Niners at Titans. Very interesting. Your Christmas Day games on Saturday will be the Browns at Packers. And then I believe it is still the Colts at Cardinals unless something has changed. Your Sunday night... Colts play the Cardinals on Christmas Day. Your Sunday night game, for the moment, and it's probably going to remain this unless Dallas has the division won by that point. And that depends on how the Cowboys, Giants, Washington, Eagles game goes. Your Sunday night game's Washington at Dallas. And your Monday night game is the Dolphins at the Saints. Now, Week 17, at the moment, there is no Thursday game for Week 17. That could change. If it does, you'll find out next week. But your Week 17's Sunday night game, for the moment, is Vikings and Packers, which will probably stay the same. And your Week 17 Monday night game is the Browns and Steelers. Week 18, we have no idea who's got what yet. But until then, like I am taking the rest of the night off. We will be back tomorrow for the Cowboys Giants. Friday will be Psychonauts. And then Saturday and Sunday, I will pretty much start my a week off until next Wednesday when we do the Week 16 picks, and then I will be off again for the rest of the holiday. So until tomorrow, everyone have a good night, and we'll see you next time. Yes, please, because like and subscribe if you can, guys, because I want to try to hit that 400 subscriber goal for 2022. I'm at 342 right now, so let's get that going, guys, if we can. But until tomorrow night, everyone be safe and have a good rest of your night and a good Thursday tomorrow.